Meet Shu Ogata. He's a poor guy, but Shu has no shame at all. After feasting on his ex-girlfriend's treat and begging her to pay for his electricity bill, Shu returns back home and finds Kisada there cooking dinner for him. My man Shu has not only been using Aino for cash and food, he'd also been slaving this poor girl to work for him and earn money for their survival. Kisada didn't seem to mind though, and weirdly did whatever Shu asked her to do. The demon appears in a hotel room one day and starts wreaking havoc all around. Thankfully for the Veyron government, there are companies that specialize in exterminating demons for which they are paid. Shu also owns one such company and is summoned to place his bid on the attack that was going on. Whichever company wins the bid gets to beat the monster and take the bid amount. He gives a call to his former boss from the AAA company, Ayano's mother, Akino, to ask her company to provide backup during the job that he had gotten. Huge, ugly demon before them has been destroying everything around it and causing all sorts of trouble and needed to be taken care of quickly. The demon, however, turns out to be not so eager to be killed, as Ayano and Shu find it difficult to beat. Just then, Kisada appears from out of frackin' nowhere with a huge blade in her hand. She first slices up the demon's hands and then fights it after watching it regenerate the hand back. Despite having a hero's entrance with the presentation of Megamind and literally showing off a few seconds ago, Kisada also cannot seem to defeat the monster. Frackin' epic job! Can we get a round of applause? Yeah, dude, you rock just as hard as fighting as I am with recapping. She blames the whole thing on Shu since they had no job for the last few months. She had lost all her powers and needed to replenish them. Let me guess. How do you get them back? How do you regain your powers? Oh my gosh, you need a kiss? Oh, that's so cliche. Whoa, that's a kiss! Slap on my jaw. Check. Oh my frick, my food! Before you say it, I know that's not the actual lyrics. Piss off. What did I expect? A normal anime? Now of all times? I mean, the name of the anime is Engage Kiss! And here I was expecting to be about money. You lied to me! It is, Recap. Now shut up and keep doing your job! With the kiss completed, Kisada turns into a demon herself. But the cute kind, like all the women are portrayed in anime. Come on! Why do you gotta have my dude this hulking beast? And then you get the female goblins, you make them sexy, bro. Come on, like... Why am I complaining? Oh, Mr. Recap. Oh, dap me up. Dap me up. Oh, I love banging goblins. That's it. Give me that good old goblin gussy. That's what it... Oh my, what the frick did I just say? Anyways, with her new demon form, she now takes on the ugly demon head as Shu wakes up, still weak. She probably sucked out a lot more than spit from his mouth. On his hand, Shu finds some scribblings and a bullet, which oddly resembles a fang. He places the bullet into his gun and storms back into the battlefield. The duo is still unconvincing, because Kisada is actually using the power Shu gave her to fight the demon to fight Ayano for some reason. Shu separates the two after some time and hands Kisada a spare key to his room as proof that Ayano meant nothing, I guess, and sends her off to battle. Finally, the demon is defeated, which honestly could have been a lot quicker, but whatever the frick, right? Although, there was never really any doubt that the demon wouldn't be defeated, as Kisada is an A-class demon, far superior than the lame, ugly one that was attacking the place. After every bit of commission is handed over to the AAA company, Shu and Kisada are left with $3,000, which would also arrive at the end of the month. Meaning that these two were broke for the rest of the month, as only earlier, Shu had used all of Kisada's savings on a stupid purchase online. Broke mindset. Come on, man. Shu is determined to make everything right and heads to Ayano for help once again, while Kisada heads to her school. Wait, Kisada's a school student? I get she's a demon, but she's in school, so Shu was making an underage girl work for him? This is worse than incest. Nah, I'm kidding. It's probably different because she's a demon, you know? I mean, the legal age is different in Japan. Incest still sucks, by the way, still. I'm not trying to deflect from that. I'm looking at you, Yasuga Soda, and domestic girlfriend and literally almost every other show that we've recapped on this stupid frackin' cursed channel. Shu finds Ayano at the gym and once again uses his absolutely non-existent charm on his ex to manipulate her into getting him and his company a subcontract through the AAA company. Luckily for Shu, Akino had just received a demon-related offer that had bypassed the bidding and landed straight at her company. The mayor of Veyron was going to give a speech at a ceremony tonight, and police suspect that there was going to be an attempt on the mayor's life. The plans were discovered in the room of a boy who was previously suspected of demon possession, which is why the AAA were getting involved. The AAA was actually hired by the mayor's daughter and wife for his protection. Since matters could get a bit complicated, Akino does agree to give Shu some help. But she wouldn't pay him. Instead, she would let him have the $3,000 he earned earlier at the beginning of the month. A desperate Shu accepts the frackin' deal. That night, the ceremony begins, and Shu carefully checks all the guests before heading out to the balcony, leaving Kisada inside to keep watch. As the mayor delivers a classic politician speech, claiming how the city would provide safety and riches to all of its citizens, Shu scoffs. A city where demons were at large at all times would never be able to give citizens true safety. He remembers back to the time when his whole family was murdered by demons, when suddenly a shadow appears behind the mayor. As the mayor continues on his ramblings about Veyron's frackin' success, the demon's paws extend toward him, only to be stopped by Kisada. Quickly, a chase ensues between the demon, the AAA forces, Kisada, and Shu. Eventually, Kisada and Shu manage to bring the demon to its knees. But just as they're about to finish it off, Shu gets a call that they needed to take in the demon alive, since he still had human consciousness despite being a demon, and the cops would want to, question him. Shu had no means to capture the demon, and this made the whole situation even more complicated. Shu decides to order in an express delivery of an expensive fishing net, which would cost them around $3,000. Kisada starts reasoning that it was their entire month's food that he was wagering, but the shopaholic is too deep to return now. The demon, on the other hand, finds their cheap behavior so absurd that he takes the opportunity to jump out the window and run away. Unluckily for him, though, express deliveries in Veyron are super fast, and same-day delivery means same minute. The frackin' delivery truck that had brought the net launcher crashes into the demon, rendering him unconscious. The job was done, but the duo was once again broke. At least they had a net launcher. The next week, a spy from another country arrives at the Veyron Agornium plant and steals the ore, but he is quickly apprehended by the cops nearby. Fearing for his life after getting shot, the spy makes a contract with the strongest demon he can get. With the Agornium ore stolen, half the city of Veyron experiences blackouts in the day, which comes at a great comfort to Shu and Kisada. Their light was cut because they didn't pay the bills, and seeing everyone else suffer, well, it gave them some happiness, in a way, I guess. However, this couldn't continue. No one can stay broke for an entire month and feed on only beans and soup. Shu had to do something about it, and by something, I mean he had to beg his ex to pay his bills again. During their meeting, Shu reveals that he had received pictures of the massive caterpillar demon and wanted to bid to take it out. He'd been informed about this demon by someone from the inside, but for this massive of an information to have landed at Shu and his small company meant only one thing. Someone was exploiting him and his situation. But despite all of this, money's money, and Shu just can't have enough. Actually, he just never has enough. As usual, Shu accepts to do the job at an outrageously low amount and wins the bid. But suddenly, Akino walks in and claims that the situation has changed. They reveal that the demon actually was storing the city's Agornium ore within it, which meant that it needed to be captured, and a small company like Shu's could never be able to pull that off. So the earlier bid is canceled, and in the readjusted bid, the AAA company lands the job, much to Shu's frustration. The AAA company and Akino are no amateurs, and have a massive fleet of ground and aerial forces to make swift work of the demon. They first freeze the monster right where it is and try to extract the ore from it, but the caterpillar demon suddenly transforms into a butterfly and starts creating havoc. Yeah, why didn't we see that one coming? Ayano's crew is barely able to hold it back, so they have no choice but to take Kisada and Shu's help. Once again, Kisada comes to Shu for a power-up kiss, but this time she's a bit reluctant, as it turns out that she isn't just kissing him to drain his powers, and instead is draining away his memories as well in the process. Like most demons, this was a fair exchange. Shu, however, doesn't care about the consequences as long as he can protect his loved ones and lets the hot, underage demon kiss him. I'd put that in the worst way possible, but am I wrong? When he gets back up, he looks at his hand to see his name scribbled onto it along with 2 bullets. Kisada is battling the demon and creates an opening for him. With 2 shots in his hand, Shu brings the demon down without actually blowing it up, just like he was asked to. The AAA company is on another bit of demon killing business. Ayano is there with her team, but the demons have done pretty decent damage already. There are tons of dead bodies scattered around the place, but Ayano is a professional, and along with the police force, she is able to apprehend the main guy named Tony, who is caught alive. His name's Tony? Oh no, it's Tony. Oh. The guy is then being dragged away to the hospital because he suffered quite a bit of damage. His girlfriend Marie is wailing like a child as he's being loaded into the ambulance. This will be important later, don't worry. After finishing her work, Ayano goes to a fancy restaurant to meet up with someone, whereas elsewhere at the same time, Shu and Asada are spending the night with a candlelit dinner. Not because they are trying to be romantic or anything, but because they haven't paid for the electric bill. Let's go back to the fancy restaurant though. Ayano is actually meeting up with one of the workers from the bidding committee, trying to bribe her to make sure that the next contract is given to the AAA company. After the woman downs a whole bottle of the most expensive wine, she finally agrees to Ayano's request. As she returns back to her place, she passes by Shu's shabby old place. And as she passes by, Asada notices her and she follows her to see where she goes. Asada, despite being a demon, is kind of a social media freak, and when she notices Ayano with someone else in the park, she takes this as an opportunity to get some likes on her profile. She clicks a picture of the two and posts it online. Unfortunately for her though, Ayano follows her too, so she immediately calls her out, and Shu has to come and stop the girls from a catfight. Meow. That was the weakest meow I've ever heard, and I own chihuahuas. I'm still recovering, okay? I'll remember this next time you want to get me canceled. I'll just send Hypecap in here. No! No! Please! Anything but that! Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't be able to handle him either. So that guy that Ayano was talking to turns out to be an assistant to the Inspector Mikami, who is currently investigating the latest Tony incident. Not the Tony incident. Turns out, because of his extremely stereotypical Italian name, Tony was part of a mafia group. Big shocker. I've never met a Tony I liked. I don't even have to try to get you canceled. You just say stupid things yourself. It also turns out that in the last few episodes, the guy acted like a random character, but was actually carrying out a pyramid scheme where he handed out demonic abilities to people. Like frickin' Oprah. Not sure how that works because people usually don't get anything in pyramid schemes. I would know. But the anime decided to call it a pyramid scheme and we're rolling with it, baby! Anyways, Tony was working with a few other people and running this whole business. His mafia gang, named the Orcas, were probably behind all of this and could also be working on something really huge behind the scenes. Tony Rossi was probably the main guy though, as per his speculations, because he already had a badass mafia name. But then Tony just frickin' dies. No warning, dude just gets a call. Yeah, Tony's dead. Mikami heads to the scene where Tony had been killed and discusses the situation with the cops. The cops believe that the guy was killed because of mafia business and no demons involved. They even have the weapon used to kill the guy, which surprisingly has no blood on it. But hey, I'm not gonna argue logic in anime. I learned my lesson. It shows the emblem of another gang in the city. The murder was done as revenge for something. Probably. Isn't that how gangs work? The frick? Why are you asking me? You think I would know? I don't know, you're familiar. I failed to see the connection. I don't know, but they had no other choice but to keep the investigation for Tony on hold. Regardless, Mikami takes the entire police force and heads to the Orcas gang hideout to look for some concrete answers behind the case. What exactly was the reason why Tony was killed? However, when he gets to the place, it's all frackin' destroyed by someone. Or something. Shu, on the other hand, meets up with Ayano to convince her to come with him, or at least do some more investigation on the case by herself, but Ayano is more interested in their past relationship issues. She's pretty angry, to say the least, about how Shu and her relationship was torn because of Asada's appearance, and she had done so many things for him. Shu, however, has no idea about fracking anything, no memory of it. Remember, that's the point, that's the idea, that's the demons. The man just apologizes and leaves. As the guy leaves, Asada appears, pulls Ayano aside, and reveals the whole contract thing. Asada was the reason why Shu remembered nothing about the relationship, but Asada knew everything. She even reveals all the creepy, spicy details about the relationship to prove her point.
Well, what were the spicy deets?
You really want to know?
Ooh, I bet it's about chicken nuggets and booty wax.
Huh?
Yeah.
Familiar, I fail to see the connection.
Don't question my smarticles.
Okay. Anyways, as Shu is walking down the street, an arrow comes at him from frackin' nowhere and lands right next to him. On the arrow is a paper informing Shu of the fight going on right now at the Orca's hideout. Without hesitation, Shu rushes to the scene on his old bicycle. He might be the protagonist, but he's still fucking poor. He arrives to the scene only to see a woman demon slaughtering the people in it. She slices open a guy's neck just as Shu appears. Shu and the demon then fight, but it appears that she can travel through mirrors and reflections, and she's able to escape. Mikami comes in like a real cop, late, and notices that a lot of his men are dead. What a surprise. But hey, remember that guy whose neck was sliced open just a moment ago? Yeah, that guy's alive somehow, and he utters the words, Marie, just before dying. I mean the word, Marie. That's only one word. Tony's girlfriend. See, I told you that was important. High five!
Well, are you expecting me to high-five you?
No, I'm waiting for the guy.
What guy? Yes, did someone order a high five?
Yep, that would be me.
What the frick? Here's your high five.
Thank you.
I didn't know we had a high five guy.
Isn't he great? Anyways, the demon from earlier actually goes to attack Ayano and Asada for some reason out of the blue. She even manages to hurt Ayano with her blade, and since Ayano didn't really carry any weapon with her at the moment, Asada has to come to her rescue. Soon enough, Ayano magically gets a gun as well, and the two women gang up on the weird demon lady who can travel through reflections. When the demon realizes that she's outnumbered, she runs away, but this was an issue. The demon was targeting specific people. Ayano then thanks Asada for giving her the gun on time, but it actually turns out it was Shu who used the express delivery service to get her the gun. Thanks, Jazzy Jeff Bezos. Shu then sits down with Mikami to have dinner. Since Mikami was offering the meal, Shu stayed without any questions. There was a catch to the free meal, however. Mikami asks Shu about his informant. The whole raid thing on the Orca's base was actually known only by a few higher-ups, and on top of that, he came there within 15 minutes of the operation's beginning. So who was it that was giving him information? Shu is reluctant to help because he has absolutely no idea who this man is. He's never met him. Mikami tells Shu that he can help Shu more than this unknown informant, who could probably be the one who was responsible or somehow related to the death of his family. What the frick did I miss? Backup story time.
You know, Recap, I don't see botted anime recap channels miss important plot points.
True, Familiar, but you know what they are missing? A personality.
Oh, frick, critical hit!
So back when Shu was small, his father used to be a big hotshot in the whole Orgonium ore business. And more importantly, the guy was also a demon hazard prevention consultant. Basically, he killed demons, but in a glorified way. So one day, he led the inspection on the Orgonium mines, which is suspected to have created the demons in the first place. However, to make it look like a casual field trip, he had taken his family there as well, and there was where they had all died mysteriously. Him, along with his family, and tons of other important people, only Shu had survived. The whole incident made people believe that Shu's father had actually planned a mass killing of all the important officials and was involved with the demons all along. This had tainted their family reputation, which is why Shu was so much involved in demon business. He wanted to find the killers and bring his family's reputation back. Shu decides to help Mikami and tells him everything that he knows about the informant and the current case. Apparently, in episode 1, there was a guy handing out contracts which Shu remembers to have seen. The guy lived near Shu's house, so Mikami heads there to investigate. Elsewhere, Ayano is currently being held in quarantine because she was a target of the demon lady. However, it appears that she is alone and doesn't have much security anyway. Cause Shu just arrives having landed the job to take care of said demon lady. Once again, he and Ayano talk about their past, but this time Ayano understands Shu's condition. Shu also reveals that it wasn't just revenge and restoration of family honor that was driving his actions. He thinks that perhaps his little sister was still alive, just like him, from the incident. Ayano knows that whatever they had been through, Shu remembered nothing of it. He had sacrificed his whole memory for his one goal, and she didn't want to stop him from what he wanted to achieve, and rather would do anything to help him. Jeez, there's been a lot of wholesome moments. I hope they don't add a sus scene to it. Gosh, frickin'. Ayano puts her hands over Shu's eyes and the two sleep together. Just as the scene finishes, the demon lady arrives. That's so considerate of her, letting her victims make love before she brutally murders them. The demon girl starts attacking them, but Asada arrives to the rescue. She had seen all the sussy scenes and is pretty pissed that Ayano took advantage of the things that she told her. She had a crush on Shu, and it was pretty devastating for her to have noticed the whole thing. She didn't really want to see it, but like the contract forces all of Shu's memories onto her, so you can't run from that. She screams at Ayano to let her handle the whole thing and jumps onto Shu and kisses him forcefully, sucking all of the memories out of him and turning into a super powerful version of herself. When Shu regains consciousness, he has no recollection of the whole thing that happened earlier, but he knows what needs to be done. He has the bullet in his hand, and even without a gun, he throws the bullet into the demon, which Asada pushes into it further, effectively killing her. And that's that. They literally killed the demon who could give them some information, and now they were back to square one. The next day, another villain arrives. I'm guessing she's a villain because, like the last 5 horror movies I watched, nuns were kind of evil. And also she's searching for Asada, so that can't be good.
You can't get all of your knowledge from movies, you know.
I don't know, man. Movies have taught me a lot about life.
Can they teach you how to get a girlfriend?
I'm sure they could. If I even had the swagger for it in the first place.
Dude, stop dissing yourself. I can't make any jokes when you do that.
Back at Shu's home, Ayano has now started to live with Shu since Asada is somewhere all sad and sulky about last night. As she sulks in a back alley somewhere, she gets a notification of Ayano's picture with Shu, and then gets even more pissed. Shu, on the other hand, goes to meet up with his mysterious informant and asks him questions about his identity, while Mikami is nearby waiting to pounce.
Not that type of pouncing.
The informant is well aware that Shu had turned into a snitch and tells him that he needed to worry about someone else at the moment. The nun that had arrived earlier was the main threat, and she was from the Celestial Abbey. The informant, who is using a chipmunk voice effect to hide his real voice, tells him to be wary and escaped like a frackin' ninja through a hole in the wall while he's being pursued. The nun actually had been going around searching for Shu and Asada. She had even showed up at a demon hunting hoping to meet him, but she sees some other bulky guy who she pretty much uses as a human shield against the bullets to run away. Don't worry, the guy was only shot 26 times and was still doing fine. Oh, but that 27th one, that did him in. I don't know if I need to congratulate the guy for his powerful body or be disappointed at the police who can't shoot properly. Well, I guess they shot properly. They didn't sharpen their bullets?
Stop pretending to know how guns work.
The nun then heads to Akira and the AAA company to extract info about Shu and Asada, and manages to steal Ayano's phone to get a hold of Asada. For a nun, she sure was doing a lot of crimes. Using the phone, she tracks down Shu, who was just returning from a shopping spree. He had money. She seems to know Shu all too well, but Shu pulls a Thanos on her and tells her the famous dialogue. I don't even know who you are. It's fair to say that the woman is pretty pissed at this and starts beating Shu relentlessly. She was apparently Shu's partner some odd years ago, back when Shu had first headed to find Asada and sign the contract with her. Well, ain't that the twist of the century? Also, we're probably heading into harem territory now, aren't we? How many girls are there now? 3? Oh, man. And that's where we're gonna leave it off today, cappers. Engage the like button and kiss the subscribe button if y'all liked it and wanted to see more.